Hello and welcome to Quintessential Comics. Woohoo! This is a book club. Oh yeah, yeah. This is a book club. I'm Alice. This is my channel. We have a book club. So every month we discuss one graphic novel and one new comic book issue out on the stands. And we have a Facebook page in which I put up like a poll so you can vote on what you want to read. So today's reads are voted by the people in the book club. Not all of them are able to make it in person. So some, as you might, tune in later and catch up after you've read the books. So today we are discussing Archie, Volume 1, Welcome to Riverdale. Does it say that yet anywhere? It might just say Volume 1. Okay, well that's what it's called. And I was reading another comic, but we also read as voted by, oh man, because I'm on the last page, but it's Glitter Bomb. Glitter Bomb. It's good.
Yeah, I keep wanting to say Glitter Punk because that's the name of a friend, but no, it's Glitter Bomb.
Yeah, hold on. I'm just going back to the first page so I could show you the cover. This is super preparedness right here.
I could describe the cover. There's a face.
Hold on, I'm getting there.
Okay. So picture in your mind a face.
Ta-da! Oh, well, it doesn't really look good on my computer, but it's a face. It's good stuff. As you've heard, we've got Tara today on the show. Thanks for joining us. Your hair is more purple than mine.
Yes. Well, I try. Despite being
out purpling me on my own show.
Oh no!
Cool. It's really purple, but the lighting is not great here. Superficial stuff aside, let's talk about comics. Ta-da!
Yeah, where should we start?
Your guest pick. You can pick. Which one would you like to start?
Okay. Let's start with the graphic novel. Let's start with Archie.
Woo, Archie!
Now, I read these as single issues, so I'm not exactly sure where the graphic novel ends and the single issues begin. So you might have to help me out there.
Yes, I can totally help you out there. So, geez, looking at it upside down. So the last, I think I'm not sure if it's 5 or 6, but the last one's got, ends with Jughead being a hero, being like, power of burgers.
No, that's Jughead issue 1.
Do they put Jughead issue 1 on the back of it?
Oh, what an excellent bonus.
That is an excellent bonus.
I was going to talk about Jughead anyway, since we're talking about
Jughead
Archie,
is great. Hold on. I'm going to figure this out. Well, okay, well, I'm not actually going to show the last page. That'd be weird. Wouldn't it be? I think it's 6. I think there's 6 issues.
Okay. But I have to say, for like a first volume, it's a really good size. Both the Archie and the Jughead ones were 6 issues instead of 5, and they got a lot of extra bonus content, like having Jughead issue 1 in the back, which is really cool.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. Well, first off, I really like this one.
Yeah.
I think it's really good. For people who have grown up with the Archie comic funnies, they might not be super into this because it's not like just like a joke. It's a narrative structure. And I feel like that's the first thing I have to say when I talk about the Archie comic, because everyone's so used to like, oh, so there's like 6 panels and then it's like a joke and then the end. And then like everything goes back, where it's like you're constantly in this void of the 50s and everything's like...
all the women are shaped like this.
But one of the things I really like about those original Archie comics, and they still make them, I like how they don't have like uniforms. You know how certain characters have like a thing they always wear? I like how both Betty and Veronica have distinct styles, but they don't wear the same thing.
Oh yeah, no, that was always really great. I grew up with the Archie comics, and I have to say, I actually really loved this because I was always one of those kids who really didn't like the shorter stories or the stories that ended on puns. I liked when they would randomly include a 3-parter. Like there was one classic Archie's tale, and it was definitely from the later Archies, rather than the ones from the 50s, but like Veronica gets stranded on a desert island, and it was obviously a ripoff of Castaway, and it was really funny because it was still classically Archie, but it actually told a bit of a narrative. So I actually found that I felt a lot of that similar style. Like you could really tell Mark Waid was a huge Archie fan, and I really like when you get that from a graphic novel.
Yeah, no, I really like this too. It does have a lot of like classic Archie stuff to it, but I feel like it adds. Yeah, there's nothing that, you know, a lot of those short vignettes, like they've got character and they've got flavor, but I feel like this adds a lot more. They're all the same characters, but it adds that narrative and it builds. And I really like, as someone who's like on and off read Archie, like double digest and stuff, I really like how I finally have a definite of like Betty and Veronica, like how did that all begin? Like how did that all start?
Yeah.
I really like it.
Yeah, no, that was really nice. I've always been a Betty fan myself. Like I could never understand why Veronica was such a great character. She just always seemed really mean. And again, going back to a classic Archie story where Archie added up all the pros and cons of Betty and Veronica, and Betty won hands down, but then Veronica was hot, so he chose her anyway. Like, I could never understand. And this actually humanized Veronica a little bit. Yeah, she's spoiled and she's from another world, but there's a scene where she breaks down in the girls' bathroom, and, you know, we've all been there after an embarrassing moment, and it was just, that one was one of my favorite scenes, I feel. The Betty and Veronica moments kind of in, which issue was that? 2 or 3?
It was, I think it might have been 3. When she has this moment.
Yeah, she vomits Sloppy Joe on herself in front of the entire school.
Sloppy Joes from cafeteria are not like what she's used to. And then she goes to the washroom, and then she's like,
freaking out.
Get a new outfit.
Yeah. So there's a really sweet human moment between her and Betty, but then Betty tries to be nice, and Veronica kind of has gone back to being a cold, high society, evil person. And can we swear?
Yeah.
She's a bit of a bitch. But there are such really great human moments to Veronica, and if you read the single issues, at the end they always put a classic Archie story, and Mark Waid comments on why he picked it, and he kind of comments on how he had to add more to the characters, and he says he did that with every single one except Reggie, which I feel you definitely get a sense of in the comic as well. Reggie's just awful. But I loved Archie's clumsiness. Like, that was just so well done as well.
Yeah. I really like how it begins, and I didn't get much digital stuff to show you guys, but I want to show you this first page because it's just, I feel like it's so just Archie. Just Archie. He's just like, hey,
yes,
my name's Archie. Welcome to Riverdale.
The breaking of the fourth wall, I found utterly charming. The way Archie talks to the audience and kind of fills them in on how his life's going. It really, I don't know, there was something really beautiful about that and cute, and it made me smile.
Yeah, because you know, for a lot of us who have seen Archie and people like, I guess I'm like a casual Archie fan. People have been following the comics forever. They finally have like, they're drawn in. They're included. They're part of the story in that breaking of the fourth wall. And I think it's really smart for this particular comic. It doesn't work with every comic, but for this one, I feel like it adds that extra definition and connection to the audience.
Yeah, I think the other interesting thing about it is other characters who break the fourth wall, like Deadpool, for instance, it almost makes them superior to the rest of the cast. Like, the rest of the cast is considered less intelligent because they don't understand that they're in a comic. But it's not that Archie understands he's in a comic. He's just talking to you like you're also in that world. And it doesn't make him more superior. He's still a bit of a ditzy klutz with a heart of gold. And I really liked that as well. I thought that was a really interesting way to give a character kind of that extra ability, and yet it doesn't make them any more like powerful than the other characters.
Yeah, yeah, the characters are a lot of fun. I like the arc. I like how it already, like, it starts off at the beginning, but there's already stuff happening. You know, like, it's not like, you know, page one, the world begins. In the first issue, they're referencing this lipstick incident. And they bring hashtag lipstick incident. And you've got a sense of like, there's a lot going on. These are really complex characters in a full world. And Riverdale is changing, and everyone's like really excited because they're like, oh, did you hear about these like new billionaires that are moving in? And I think it's done really well. The only thing that's like really interesting about this comic is how in the first volume they have a lot of different artists. They're all pretty good, but it starts off with Fiona Staples,
who's obviously very strong, you know, saga artist. And I love that first issue that she does. Like, the first issue of Archie, you pick that up and you're guaranteed to be hooked. As a mini narrative, it's so much fun.
And it stays as her for most of it, but I think the last couple issues, like, I'm trying to look now and see which issues.
Is it 5 and 6?
I think it's 5 and 6, or it might be like that, because parts of 5 and 6, I think, or no, 4. I'm looking at 4. 4 is part of it is flashback to the actual lipstick incident.
Which is another really great story. You know, parts of this read like a really, really good young adult novel, like a really good one. And I don't hate it for that. It's like if an adult author who actually knew a thing or two about what teenage drama is all about, but actually also knew how to craft good characters and a believable plot, went back and wrote a really good YA novel. This is that. And as someone who actually reads YA pretty frequently, I found that really enchanting as well. I was like, oh, it's high school drama. Well, it's a love triangle.
Yeah, and I feel like they did enough of like modern pop culture references for us to know that it's set in modern day without like them hitting us over the head with it. Things like hashtag lipstick incident, but like not having like a hashtag or a Kardashian reference on every page. I feel like they had a good balance for that, because obviously people are going to go back and read this like years to come, and they're going to be like, man, hashtags were so 2016.
I thought one of the significant things that it showed was when Archie goes to work for the newspaper, and Reggie's dad is talking about how a local newspaper would work and how they get most of their info from the feeds, because that's really a subtle commentary on how the newspaper industry is changing right now. And I mean, from a writer's point of view and a journalist's point of view, it's kind of like Mark Waid knows what he's talking about there, and that's a little bit of a nod if you know what's going on, that he's indicating the death of the print industry while still telling a story. And I was like, oh, pretty clever.
Yeah. And yeah, just going back and looking at that first issue, there's so much in it. You get introduced to the scene, you get introduced to the characters. There's already some drama and like awkwardness going on, and then it ends off with this like Archie unexpectedly taking the stage at a high school dance. It's got really good momentum. When I originally bought that first issue, and I was like, yeah, this is awesome. I knew. I was like, yeah, I have to keep reading this. I have to pick it up. There's a lot of like the type of writing and storytelling. Some of comics are doing similar stuff, and I really love it. Not enough is doing it, and a lot of it's like they're trying to do it, but it ends up like they're talking like it seems like they're trying to talk to you, but they're actually talking down to you at the same time. I don't know if you sort of get what I mean, but comics like this and Unbeatable Squirrel Girl and Jughead.
Yes, actually, well, to talk a bit about this, to comment about this, there's a lot of Archie. What's that print? That publisher, like, is it just Archie Comics that they're doing
Archie
all
Comics.
these? They're doing all these reboots, right? They're doing the incredible Sabrina, which is out right now, which is, if you like really, really intense classic horror.
Is this the Chilling Tales?
Yes. Yeah, so that one, it's, you know, same thing, we're rebooting a series, and it's just incredibly intense, and the art's beautiful, and the writing is really good. And then you've got Jughead, which is Chip Zdarsky, so obviously, and Erica Henderson from Squirrel Girl. Such a strong first story. That first volume is amazing.
I love it.
So
yeah,
good.
And when the Jughead #1 issue came out, we actually had a book club about it.
Oh, I missed that one.
Yeah, it was good. You guys can go back and watch it. We also read Nimona in that one.
Wow. Good one.
And yeah, no, it's really good, and I've ordered the graphic novel of that too. I really like that, like, everyone's like, Jughead like downplays everything, and he's like, yeah, whatever, but like actually he's very attentive and really thinking all this stuff through, but like it seems like he's not even paying attention and just thinking about burgers, but he knows what's going on. And I really like that.
It was interesting to compare Chip's Jughead to Mark Waid's Jughead, where he has a bit of a tragic backstory almost.
Yeah.
It's like really sad in 2 panels, and then like where he explains how Jughead got his nickname. And I was just kind of like, you just hit me over the head with this emotional drama, and you're not even going to talk any more about it because this is a comic about Archie. But I really want them to go back and talk about how Jughead was the richest kid in Riverdale, and like his family lost it all, and now he's this poor schmuck who's underestimated because he got bullied as a child and everything. And it's just like, baby.
Aww.
And then Chip's Jughead, you don't really get that backstory. He's just like super, super over imaginative, which I really also love. And he's got all his crazy like hijinks happening in his brain, like in that first issue where he has that whole Game of Thrones sequence, which is so great.
Yeah, but no, I love that. I love that reference. Yeah, we had some mixed mixed reviews of that in the book club, and I actually prefer that. Hey guys, if you disagree with me, please come and join the book club. It makes it way more interesting. Other than us being like, oh my god, I love this comic.
I will say, out of the new Archie comics, because they did a reboot of all of them, the Betty and Veronica one, I am not a fan of. That's the one, I think the art is by, who's that famous guy who did the Catwoman redesign? I'm going to be embarrassed if I get the wrong name. Adam Hughes? No, that's not right.
I'm not going to even try.
Whoever's doing the new Betty and Veronica, I read the first issue, and it was doing what you were saying, it was kind of talking down to the reader. There was some really weird meta stuff involved, and the art was pretty, but the story felt like it was just lifted out of a digest. Like, it wasn't that intelligent, and yet it seemed to be kind of toying itself as more intelligent than it was. So out of all the new reboots, the Betty and Veronica is my least favorite, and just compared to Archie and Jughead and Sabrina, it doesn't really work. But I'm excited for the Josie and the Pussycats is also coming out.
Yeah, no, and like I want to get back into Sabrina because that was one of those comics I was following in issues, and then last year there was like
a 6 to 8 month hiatus,
for like a really long time, and so I just sort of like, you know, and during that time I had, at the beginning of the time I was working at a comic book store, and by the end of it I was no longer working there, so I didn't even know when it ended. I was like, I'll figure it out when it comes out. We have someone else joining us.
Oh, there's a person.
Yes, and the webcam is not kicking in. I'm sorry. Give me a second there. Hold on. Why is it not working? Oh, good gravy. Also, as I said on Facebook, I am so sorry.
That's
oh
cool.
my
We're
gosh.
talking about Archie.
All right. Beautiful.
Pretty much, we really like it. We really like it.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there was anything I didn't like about those first issues. I think the art change was my biggest kind of grump, because I don't really like when artists change. I didn't like it on Jughead either.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it can like totally ruin a comic. I gonna badmouth Wicked and Divine a little bit here, but spoiler alert for Wicked and Divine. They did this thing where they had like, it was really cool, and they were building, and then they killed their main character, and then had like 6 issues with different artists, and I was like, I'm out. What is this?
Wait, what?
I'm going to disagree with you on that. I really enjoy Volume 3, so
yeah,
finally something we can disagree on.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, I was just like, why do I care anymore? I mean, the artists were great, and I like those artists.
I thought it
my
was
connection to the story is just gone.
I thought it was an interesting thing to do 2 volumes in, but I also liked that it gave you a break from the main narrative and went, now we're going to go give you a bunch of crazy back and side stories, so you would feel way more emotionally attached to all this other stuff in our universe. And then I really hope Volume 4 starts with like, because I'm only reading it in the trades, I'm not reading the single issues for Wick Div. I really hope Volume 4 just like punches you back into the main story, but I enjoyed Volume 3 as a little pause.
Well, that could be problematic though, because like for me with Lumberjanes, I got heavy into I burned through both of the first 2 volumes in a single sitting. And then I get into the stuff with like Volume 3 where they're getting now, and they completely changed the creative team and the tone and everything. One of the characters doesn't even act the same. The one who's supposed to be really, really uptight, the camp counselor lady, suddenly she's just all cool with all the craziness going on. And there was a bit with an under-the-sea rock concert with mermaids.
Wow. I didn't read Volume 3.
Yeah, you don't want to read anything past Volume 2, basically, thus far. It really goes downhill fast.
Well, that's disappointing. Yeah. I like Lumberjanes.
I do too.
I'm gonna get us back on topic.
Yes.
Archie. Yeah, I didn't feel like the art wasn't so different that it was jarring. And all the characters basically act the same, so I thought it was fine.
Now, I have a question for you there when it comes to the art. Did you feel like they picked an artist who had a style similar to Fiona Staples, or do you think the artist is trying to do a bit of a Fiona Staples-esque style? Because it didn't feel like a huge change to me, and I went, did they kind of pick a Fiona Staples knockoff to continue? That's a little bit odd.
Yeah, I haven't seen her other art, but they might have. It might be that the artist was like purposely trying to emulate that style. But just the fact that there's like 3 women on the cover of this book.
That is pretty great.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So the art change wasn't a big deal for me. I also like I want to touch up briefly on the back matter because you read the issues and I read the graphic novel. In the graphic novel, they have a whole section of the extra covers.
Yep.
And then they have some other behind the scenes stuff. You can't really see that very well.
Yep.
But, like breakdowns and whatnot. And then they have issue 1 of Jughead, which is awesome.
Yeah, I was amazed to see the whole first issue in there. I have not seen that done before, and it was really nice to see that, so you can actually get a feel for the greater universe.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, in response to that, the issues, if you read it issue by issue, you got the joy of, at the end of every issue, they did a classic Archie tale from, like, the very, very early Archie comics. And that was so cool to read because they like really old, like the 40s ones. And then Mark Waid would introduce them with a whole introductory bit about the artist, about why he picked that story, and about what points to note from that he used when he was writing Archie, which was really cool to read.
Yeah. Sorry, I took that brief moment to be like, I'm going to tweet about the segment we're just about to talk about. Elijah, I'm going to let you, am I pronouncing your name right, first off?
Yep, Elijah is all good.
Cool. We've already talked about how much we love this comic, so I'm going to let you briefly touch up on it, and then we're going to move on to Glitter Bomb.
All right, in regards to Archie, I haven't gotten to dig that much into the older comics. I did get a chance to meet Alex Simmons, the one guy who's worked on a lot of the Archie stuff, and that was really interesting getting to talk to him, and gave me an appreciation, so it was exciting to jump into this new incarnation, and I like it. I like, in particular, that Archie is the protagonist, but he actually regularly gets things wrong. I don't see that done a lot with male protagonists in comics, and it was nice to see that. Jughead really is made to be kind of this cynical, wise guy, and I like that the whole Betty and Veronica fighting over Archie thing isn't just immediately there. It takes a while. There's build-up. There's actually a little bit of waiting. That's really nice, and the expressiveness of the faces, expressiveness of the faces is just beautiful. I love that. I love that I can tell what they're thinking even before I've read the thought bubble. That is all just really awesome, and it's got me very interested in seeing where this goes.
Spoilers, it goes to a battle of the bands, so the Archies come back. It's great. If you keep reading the issues.
I will look forward to that. I look forward to when they add Volume 2 to Hoopla.
Hoopla, are you a Toronto local? To get off.
No, I'm down in Pennsylvania. I am literally in the backwoods.
That's awesome. Cool. Our library offers Hoopla service, but I haven't gotten on there yet. So I'm like, oh, how do you do that? But I'll figure it out.
It's awesome. It's awesome, and yeah, I can help you out with any questions you have because my mom's been bugging me for it. So shutting up. Sorry.
No worries. I'm just gonna glitter bomb. Glitter bomb.
Yay.
All right, so that's what I was trying to show the cover earlier, but showing a screen to a screen doesn't do anything. Doesn't look great. So this is Glitter Bomb. It's the premiere issue. Jim Zub. I'm not gonna try to pronounce. I think it's Debril. It's cool. It's good stuff. Good stuff. And it's from Image Comics.
Yes, it's an original series.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. What did you guys think?
More. Want more. Why do I have to wait more for issue 2? Don't make me wait. Come on, don't leave me hanging.
Oh, yeah. That much, eh?
Yeah, I am a terrible person when it comes to horror movies, but if it's a horror game or a horror comic, I want more. And Harrow County, but in Hollywood with a bit of Carrie, yes, I want that.
That is an interesting mashup you've done there for that, what it is. I've not read Harrow County, so I don't know. Personally, I really liked it. I had some criticisms. I don't think it's like an entirely original idea, but I feel like if they take it in a new direction, I'll keep going with it.
Fair enough. What I'm going to say particularly is, I should mute my phone before these shows. I really like the opening scene.
Yes.
Not all the
Yes.
time do I like it when they do, like, they show you something and then they're like 8 hours earlier. But I feel like that scene, you get so much of like character, that the desperation in that, like, that first scene, and then bam, you get that horror aspect right away. I really, really dig it. Let's see if I can tell you one of
Would you believe that's
these.
actually an accident?
Pardon?
That whole opening bit, I actually got to listen to Zub on an interview, and this whole bit was originally done as just kind of like a proof of concept. They were going to throw it away, actually. They had a completely different opening.
Oh, yeah?
Seriously, this it just was like, they realized, wait, this works. This sells people on what we're going for, so they kept it. But originally, yeah, this wasn't even in the original script.
That's great.
Wow, that's really cool. That shows how much writing a comic can change depending on what you find out works and what doesn't.
Yeah,
I'm really excited to see what more of the personality of the actual creature. I think it's the most interesting character in this first issue. Like, in terms of just like, okay, so you hate them, but why? You know, beyond that they're shallow and everything. I want backstory.
Yeah, the creature is really interesting, and one thing in particular I really like is just this page. The page where you meet the creature. I think I really like how it's just silhouetted in darkness. I think comics are a very like, it's visual storytelling, and you got to use that, or else there's no point in it being a comic. And this particular page is like, this is why this story is told in a comic, because you get so much of that feeling. And I like how you can see the tentacles and stuff like that.
And on top of that, you've also got the whole Ridley Scott's alien aspect of, you can see some of it, but you can't see everything. Some of it's still obscured, so you're still left uncertain as to what precisely is actually happening to her.
Yeah, has it completely consumed her and is wearing her skin? Or, like, what is the relationship between the creature that's clearly inside her and what's her name? Is it?
I believe it's Tara or Sarah. Let me double check.
Farah.
There.
You were close. Yeah. No, it's definitely it's a really interesting Hollywood story. I think Brubaker does a lot of comics set in Hollywood, right? You've got Fatale and you've got The Fade Out, and those have more of like a film noir, and this is going more for like the classic sci-fi horror of like a monster in modern day Hollywood, which is even more insane and superficial and crazy than it's a different kind of insane and superficial and crazy than classic 50s Hollywood. So I am interested to see how that plays out. But I was comparing them a little bit in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Another thing I really want to mention is I really like the artist. I can't pronounce her name yet, but when somebody else says it on video first, I will be able to. It's the problem with reading comics, is you don't know how to pronounce them. I think the faces are really great. It's very expressive, and in sort of like an emotionally tense drama and like horror story like this, you need these characters to really pull you in. So even though, like, you know, Farah didn't do much that was like really interesting or really crazy, except for like the monster. But I really got a sense of who she was because of her facial reactions and because of the way she reacted with other people. So I really like these interactions, and the artist does a really good job. I think this guy is gonna go really far.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm really surprised that this is their first like big project. I think it said that in the back of the issue.
Yeah. This is a new artist.
And And they did all the main artist also did all the cover art on top of that.
I mean, the cover is definitely gorgeous. I really like it.
Have you seen the one for number 3?
The cover for number 3?
Yeah, that's the one that immediately got my. Let me send it over the chat real quick.
Oh,
because that one just the rawness.
Oh, wow.
That one, yeah.
Hold on, let me. Wait, we can share this. Hold on, I can share this. Ooh.
Number 4 is pretty insane as well.
Oh yeah, That,
in a little bit more of a Carrie rated R kind of way.
definitely.
Okay, so this is number 3, which he's just mentioning.
Just that face is really terrifying. And the perspective.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I liked reading in the back matter how they pretty much made the whole first arc before releasing the first issue. I really appreciate it when creators do that because that means there's going to be less delays in between. And they know how the first arc is going to go regardless of whether it's picked up or whether like it continues or not, or fan reaction. I don't want people to like rewrite their comics because of what people are saying about them. I want to know the stories they're telling, and if it's not my cup of tea, that's fine. But there's a lot of people out there who will enjoy them. So yeah, I also read that in the back matter. I'm a big fan of Jim Zub's work generally. So there's certain stuff of his that I have more criticism and critiques than others. But I feel like this one's got a really strong start. Whether they can pull that through and keep the tension going and while also giving us more information will be the real challenge, because when it comes to horror, like having less information makes you more tense, and gives the story more that suspense, and that is what the horror, like for a lot of it is not just the physical stuff you see, but the psychological stuff of like you don't know what's going on underneath. So having that balance between revealing more about the characters but also keeping it really dark and creepy is going to be really tough for a comic like this. So it'll be interesting to see how it continues.
Well,
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Oh, well, I was about to say. I mean, it starts with a pretty major death, and it is clearly set in the modern day, and it's in Hollywood. So my major question for issue 2 is how are they going to cover that up? Because clearly the main character doesn't go to jail. So I'm always, when it comes to like someone being very violently murdered in the modern day in a very public kind of way, how are they going to explain that away without incarcerating their main character?
Well, there's that. Plus, and going back to what I was saying about Harrow County, because that's the one thing this one and Harrow County share a lot in common is our main protagonist is also our monster. So that's the one angle that they might be able to keep things mysterious. I completely agree with you that how on earth does she not get arrested for this? Other than the fact that, they don't have a warrant for Cthulhu yet. But
yeah,
if we aren't certain if she's going to stay in control of this monstrosity, because she clearly isn't already, then what happens if it tries to go after the babysitter we see? Or what if it tries to go after her kid even? There's ways that they could take this monster to really make it be an internal battle, or they could start working together. That's the thing that I'm really hoping they keep us on our toes about. We are never fully certain if it's actually going to work to her benefit or not.
You were just showing a random page.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's nothing on his screen when he's talking, so I wanted...
I'm sorry, the webcam is not working for some reason.
So I put up some images of the comic. I found a better page for like the faces that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, well, I was about to say that page is a really good example of the expressions. I really liked it because the particular eye roll Farrah does when the girl's talking about like, and my stylist says that I need to do this, and my therapist says that I need to do that, was so good.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm also interested to like. I really like what you were saying, Elijah, about like the internal conflict and how our main character is the monster and how that's going to develop, and that's really interesting. But the other thing I wanted to mention is like, this girl like does not care about her kid.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty obvious. Like you can tell right away. Like she loves acting, and that's like her thing. And even as like an older person who doesn't have gigs, or like that's all she knows how to be, and that's all she is. And it's not that she needs this gig for money. She needs this gig because that's like who she is. And you can clearly tell that having a kid was not a choice. It happened, and she's just like, okay, whatever, I'll keep living. But she's really not like taking this kid into consideration and like trying to give him a like happy, loving upbringing with consistent family.
Yeah.
Because like as soon as this kid's like 12 or like 11, like this kid is going to be making himself dinner and putting himself to bed because his mom's just not going to be around.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, she's obsessed with Hollywood in a really dark way, and I think like it's trying to really show that that's an unhealthy thing that occurs a lot, where people are so obsessed with being an actor and getting famous that they don't care about anything or anyone else.
Absolutely, and also on top of that, in reading the individual issue, did you guys catch at the very end the little essay from a woman who actually had been working in Hollywood that was one of the inspirations?
Well, I don't know if I read that.
I saw it and I did not read it, but how was it? I
strongly recommend reading it. It is heart-wrenching. It's awful sounding. I mean, the woman at one point, a guy as a joke was kind of like pretend dry humping her. It sounds really, really awful. But the thing is, she stuck it out through this insane production that just pretty much everything that could go wrong did go wrong, and I can definitely see where it inspired Glitterbomb, because it hurts reading it, and this is going to sound weird, but it hurts in the best way possible because the woman writing it is very good, and I'm happy to say she did get past it. She's now happily working as a writer. There's even a thing at the very end about her Twitter where you can follow her, but good gravy. You really see what they were looking at when they were putting this together. Jim Zub did his research.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? It also reminds me a little bit of, I didn't read this essay, but Margaret Cho, the comedian, has a really fascinating live comedy act that's recorded and you can watch, but also her memoir about working on a television show and what it's like to be treated as an Asian American woman in Hollywood, and the physical and mental scarring that she has from the way people treated her, really makes it clear that this is an unhealthy industry, and there's not a lot of warmth in it for someone who's got this kind of drive to be in it no matter what.
Is it I'm the One That I Want?
Yeah, that's the one.
Okay. Definitely. Well, now I know what to get with the Audible free trial. Thank you.
Yeah, I think Mara Wilson just came out with a book about that. She was a child actress. She was Matilda, and she was like really cute when she was a child, but she wasn't like classic Hollywood pretty. And I read an excerpt that was posted in an article about how she's like, I always thought acting was my choice, and if I didn't want to act, that would be my choice, but it was taken away from me because I'm not pretty enough to even play the unattractive friend. And just like, but like she's not hideous. She's just not like a 9 or a 10, I guess. So yeah, it's very interesting, the culture of Hollywood in that sense. And I really like this combination of like horrible Hollywood industry with actual horror.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be really cool. And it is really good in this first issue. So I'll be checking it out. I'm gonna be getting it digitally.
Yeah, I don't know. I got the first issue digitally. I'll probably keep reading it digitally, and then I might pick up the trade. If it's got a good first arc, it'll be worth picking up for the trade, because I really do like that front cover. I like all the covers, so it'd be nice to have that on a shelf.
Mm-hmm. If I can levy one criticism against Clear Bomb, despite all my fanboying over it, it's got to be this. You're saying about, wondering if she's going to get arrested or not. Part of what has me questioning that is it feels like there's a missing character or something. It feels like we need someone else that's in her life that she interacts with, because it feels like there is a void there. Like there should be someone who she interacts with. It could be a best friend, and they don't even necessarily have to be a best friend, just someone who's basically what she can consider one. Someone to bounce things off of, because right now, as he said, she's very much in her own head, and the monster has actually gotten to do more of the talking. So if we could see someone play off of her, I think we might get a little bit more of an idea about who she is going on inside.
Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't want to infer too much from covers, but it looks like issue 2, the cover kind of plays her face off of a man's face, and I'm wondering if that's going to be an actor or if that's going to be her son's father, or her child's father,
Yeah.
So that could be a character. I mean, you get the sense of the babysitter, there's kind of like an antagonistic friendship there.
Mm-hmm.
Almost.
Oh, definitely.
And I don't know if they're trying to play the whole everyone in Hollywood, nobody's really a friend, everyone's just out to get everyone because they all want to be successful, so you're only friends with someone to get something from them. And that makes it really isolating. So you do get a real sense of isolation from this issue.
Yeah, no, I pulled up a page. It's just like, this is like her walking into the sea, being like, you like that desperation and hopelessness in her eyes. It's just unbelievable. And I think that's why they have that character in the waiting room, because this woman doesn't have friends to like talk to. So to get a sense of her character, they have a person in the waiting room who's talking to her. And that way we can see who she is from that interaction. But I'm guessing that there's not going to be like
a huge cast of characters.
No.
Yeah.
Because I feel like her isolation, her being alone, is a part of what makes her this just totally hopeless, desperate character that drew out this monster. And also the monster might be that secondary character. Mm-hmm. So we'll see.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting, seeing like an internal dialogue. You literally have your antagonist and protagonist having a casual chat. Oh, I want to see that now. Oh, I want to see that.
Well, the next issue looks like it comes out October 12th. That's gonna be exciting.
Yeah, no, I hope it's good, because like, I love Jim Zub. He's a really nice dude, and he makes good comics. But I was a little disappointed with Wayward. It had a really interesting premise in the beginning, but I don't know. I feel like there was something off about the pacing, where nothing felt urgent. There was stuff happening and it was building, but nothing felt like it was. I don't know how you would change that, but it just felt, it wasn't like, I was like, oh man, I should love this, but there's something missing and I can't put my finger on what it is. So maybe, I don't know, maybe that was just me, but I'm hoping that, especially with the tension and with the horror in this one, I feel like they can keep that going. And so I hope it'll be really excellent.
Yeah, me too.
Did you guys follow Wayward? Was that just me?
I've wanted to get into Wayward, but I have not gotten to try it.
I don't think I've even seen that on a shelf. Is it an Image title?
Yeah.
So I think it's just wrapping up. I have like the first 12 issues. Jin Zub's done a bunch of really cool stuff. I really like Skull Kickers, and he did work on some of the Pathfinder comics. So this isn't his first comic as a writer, but this is the artist's first comic, as they mentioned in the back matter of the book. Yeah, it's cool. Good stuff.
Right there's a cover for issue 1.
So I'll tell you later, but there's a way you could share.
I've seen that cover, but I have not read that. I think I kind of was like, oh, cats, and then I didn't read it.
In Japan.
Cats in Japan with glowing eyes. And a girl with glowing eyes and serrated weapons. Nothing bad will happen at all.
Every time I see that many cats in a comic, I just think of Sandman, Neil Gaiman's Sandman, Volume 3, which is the story about cats, which is like one of my favorite issues from Sandman.
I still need to read Sandman.
I don't even remember that. Oh man, it's been so long since I've read Sandman.
I have read it so many times. It's the one issue where it's like cats talking about how if all the cats in the world dream a world where cats rule and humans are just like vermin that they can catch, then that will become the new reality. But you need to have like 1,000 cats have the same dream on the same night for it to happen. It's awesome. Yeah, it's really good. Volume 3 of Sandman.
Interesting. I will look this up.
Yeah, some of the Sandman stories have stayed with me forever. Wanda, that character Wanda, the trans character, I think it's from Volume 4.
Oh, yes.
Like that's like such an amazing story, and I'll forever remember that, even though I only read it once, and it's probably 10 years ago at this point. That's like good writing, right? When you remember just like like feeling. Cool. Any more commentary on Glitter Bomb?
I think we said it all.
We talked about it. Cool. I'm gonna wrap this up. Put a bow on it. I don't know how you. I was just like bows. That's how bows look, right? I'm Alice. This is the book club, and we're taking recommendations for the poll for next month. So either probably tomorrow, I'm going to post the book club gathering for next month on the Facebook page, which is facebook.com/QCX show. It's going to be an event, and each month we put up a poll of which new issues do you want to read, which graphic novels do you want to read and discuss, and based on what you guys vote for, that is what the subject of our video is. So I don't know if you guys have anything off the top of your head you want to add.
I'm trying to think. I'm gonna be digging into Black Science and Copperhead and Giant Days next. So those 3.
Cool.
I'm going to be flicking through October previews and also starting a new job at Labyrinth Comics downtown, so I'm sure I'll see things there and just start reading everything in that shop ever.
Yeah, now that I no longer work in a comic book shop, I don't have like a previews. I could just flip through and be like, what new comics are coming out? So yeah.
Well, you can always pick them up at the Sidekick. They always have lots of extra ones.
Oh, cool. Yeah, so, and also in the poll, there's a spot at the bottom where you can be like, I want to add an option because my idea is way better than these. So you could totally do that too. And then you could follow us on Facebook and subscribe to the events so that you'll never miss a book club. And if you see any of the book clubs on the channel that you like, you could go back and check it out. Because oh my gosh.
What?
The artist is in the chat being like, hey, I'm so glad you like the book.
Hello!
Oh no! Oh.
We really like the book. Your art is really amazing.
Beautiful work. Beautiful work.
It really is. It's truly beautiful. That's awesome. I don't know this guy. Not yet, but hey. I look forward to meeting you. I'm blushing a little right here. But yeah, we're wrapping up. So we'll see you in the future. Book clubs every month forever. Let's read some great comics and have a good time. Thanks so much for joining me today. Tara, thank you so much. And Elijah, you guys can plug stuff if you want to plug stuff.
Tara, if you want, you can go first.
Not so much. I'm just a general comic book fan right now. Don't have any projects to plug or anything. I mean, you can follow me on Twitter if you want to, but there's nothing on there right now, so maybe don't do that until I actually like get more. But yeah, I work at the Labyrinth Comics in Toronto, so if you ever want to come and visit and talk comics to me, feel free to do so.
All right. For me, you can follow me on Twitter as well at Paradigm Fallen, and you can find me on YouTube at Unabridged Gamer, where I will be probably frustrating someone with my latest game review.
Unabridged Gamer?
Yes.
Nice.
Thank you.
Cool. I'm Alice Quinn. You can find me online at the Alice Quinn on most things. I wasn't able to get that on Pokemon Go. Oh well. And yeah, I like talking about comics. It's good times. It's good times. So I hope you guys enjoy your month of reading, and I'll see you on the next one.
Yeah.